Buenos días a todos. Es un enorme placer para mí estar aquí por la segunda vez en este evento digitales. Y para comenzar, me gustaría hacer llegar mi más sincero agradecimiento al secretario de Estado, Roberto Sánchez, por su, creo, gran apoyo a nuestra industria. Roberto Sánchez, junto con la vicepresidenta Nadia Calviño, han cumplido los hitos clave de lo que llaman la hoja de ruta 5G, que se presentó a la industria en el mes de mayo del año pasado, 2021. Creo que ambos entienden que el 5G y el sector de las telecomunicaciones son factores clave para tener éxito en la transformación y la digitalización del país. Y creo que también ellos han entendido que ahora es el momento de actuar para apoyar a las empresas de telecomunicaciones que están invirtiendo, a las que están invirtiendo fuertemente en las redes del futuro. A ellos les agradezco la extensión de las frecuencias 5G por más de 20 años, la reducción de las tasas de espectro, como lo hemos visto la nueva ley de telecomunicaciones, y también recientemente su impulso para conseguir una nueva ley audiovisual aprobada en el Senado que eliminará para las telco la contribución a lo que llamamos la taxa de la TV, que para nosotros es muy importante para continuar a invertir en el país. Ahora nos encontramos claramente en el proceso de asignación de los fondos NextGen, donde lo digital será un pilar clave del plan de España para impulsar la economía, y claramente por nuestra parte en Orange contribuiremos en todo lo que podemos a formar parte activa de este programas para extender, acelerar la conectividad digital y la digitalización de las pymes españolas. Realmente valoramos en Orange y apreciamos el diálogo constructivo con la Secretaría de Estado, con el Estado español, y así que gracias por el apoyo a nuestra industria, a ellos. Y voy a conseguir en inglés. Today I wish I would be very happy to celebrate with you guys a new, let's say, period of growth and stability that we were all expecting after, I would say, the traumatic experience we all lived during this COVID period. But unfortunately, war broke in Ukraine, as we all know, and this is unfortunately adding even more uncertainties in our future, as we all know. So today, obviously, I do have a very special thoughts for the citizens of Ukraine. It was 4 months ago that this war broke there in our borders, and we, I think, must not forget that there are still a lot of people suffering there with growing needs. And I must say, I am particularly proud of my colleagues of Orange, and I would like today in front of you to pay a special tribute of my even former colleagues, because some of you know I used to work a few years in Romania and Poland before, of my colleagues of Orange in Poland, in Romania, but as well in Moldova and Slovakia, which have been really doing a tremendous job to help their Ukrainian neighbors. During these past few months, a lot of initiatives have been taking place there, especially in Poland, where installations of Orange there, which by the way is the incumbent operator, have been used to welcome refugees, have been used to welcome Ukrainian kids, have been used to actually build schools in Ukrainian, and obviously we have been helping in all these countries to collect all essential things Ukrainian people needed. This is from clothes to even solar chargers for mobile phones, and channeling them to Ukraine to help these Ukrainian people fighting there in their country for freedom. In Spain as well, we have done our best from the very first moment, from the day the war broke, we sit together in Orange and decided to give for free calls, messages, SMSs, cards, Wi-Fi cards to people, clearly to facilitate the communication with their families in Ukraine. And what's more, I'm very proud to see that our colleagues, our Orange colleagues in Spain, have been donated from their own money more than 66,000 euros, which have been donating to NGOs to help, obviously, people in Ukraine. Now, our hopes and my hopes are clearly that the Ukrainian people clearly will be able to enjoy as soon as possible peace and obviously their freedom shortly. And I think the voices here today, which are about future, clearly demand for all of us this peaceful world. Now, I would like to come back to our industry, the telecom industry, the digital industry more generally, and the challenges we are facing. Clearly, we all know that for many years we live in a globalized environment. I will not discuss here today that things are maybe changing with the face-à-face between China and the US, with Russia and Europe, because this is not the place. But clearly, our ambition, our industry, requires an ambition to face the competitors we are having in this world. Because if you look at Spain, we are not competing here with our local rivals. You know them, I'm not going to quote them, the incumbent and the others. But we are also in what I call a co-opetition with a lot of digital players. It's a co-opetition because it's on one side a competition, but it's also a cooperation with the big actors of the net. We call them the OTTs, the GAFAM, whatever, and there is a competition with this player as well. Why am I saying all that? Is that I believe that for European telcos, having the right size and the right muscle is from the essence and will be more and more key to cope with our competitive environment, which once more is not only local, but is also global. And this is one of the reasons why here in Spain, on 8th of March, we have announced our intention to combine the businesses of Orange and MásMóvil in Spain. The aim of this is very clear. It's to create a player with more scale and to continue and to be able to continue investing massively in the networks of the future, fiber and 5G. I have no breaking news today for you guys, sorry. We are still in the process of negotiations with MásMóvil to clinch an agreement to create this joint venture. As you can imagine, this is a pretty complex process. But there is the will on both sides to do that. And once this step taken, obviously there will be a long period opening, which will be a period whereby we will work with the authorities in Spain, obviously, and the authorities in Brussels to get the necessary approvals for this deal. I am obviously very excited by this perspective of creating this joint company, and I would like to share with you a few elements about what we intend to build here in Spain. This is very clear. We intend to build a stronger challenger to the incumbent, a very strong number two, and even stronger number two in the Spanish market. What we intend to build is a company that will serve more than 24 million mobile customers in Spain and more than 7 million fixed broadband customers. And clearly, these two complementary companies will, through this, gain, I believe, the necessary scale to continue rolling out the networks of the future, 5G, fiber, which are key to the modernization of this country and the technology. I think clearly through this joint venture, we'll have the muscle that the two companies individually could not afford for building these networks of the future. Clearly, this strategic move in Spain, I believe, will also continue to develop very competitive telecommunication infrastructures in the country. And these fiber investments will not only strengthen the Spanish industry but also Spain being a very touristic country and the summer is now. We know that tourism is coming back, fortunately, and basically through these networks that we are going to build together, I believe all European citizens will be able to enjoy them here in the coasts of Spain. So we will, I think, be in line with the Commission Digital Decade's objective. Together with MásMóvil, we will obviously, and you all know that for those of you who are living in Spain, have a wide-ranging complementary brand portfolio. We will clearly be able to offer to the market quite, I think, unique proposals, very competitive offers, meeting all the needs of all segments, being consumers, being companies, SOHO, PMS, very large ones, with excellent customer experience, and a large portfolio, and also more and more innovative services, innovative digital services, I would say. So this business will also, I think, be key for the creation of a new sustainable player. For Orange, sustainability is a key topic and a key strategy, and that will also give us the scale to be able to continue helping the society, reducing the digital divide, which is one very key topic for us, and clearly lead the way to carbon neutrality, to give a word to our children, which is the one they deserve. We believe as well that that is not going to eat or to reduce the competitive landscape in Spain. It was discussed before. Spain is one of the most competitive markets in Europe. We believe that after the creation of this joint venture, the potential creation of this joint venture, the market competition in Spain will not be reduced. You all know that. There are a number of players. I mean, we were just discussing this morning that the number of telecommunication companies advertising on TV in Spain is more than 33. And we know that this is a super competitive market and will remain a very competitive market with both retailers, MVNOs, wholesalers, infrastructure players. And even more, through this scale, we are going to invest even more in infrastructures, and therefore, we believe we are going to increase the competition in infrastructure and therefore give more possibilities to telecom companies to deploy in this market. I'm seeing my colleagues of Totem being in the room. TowerCos, which are extremely developed in Spain, are also clearly companies that are helping to reduce the barrier of entry in mobile, making it more easy than ever to deploy mobile networks. Therefore, we firmly believe that this potential strategic move will invigorate the competition in Spain, and therefore helping clearly with this invigoration competition to increase and accelerate the digital transformation. As we know, clearly, this is a topic we have been touching for years in forums like that, the necessity of markets to consolidate. I hope, and we are working for here in Spain for this to become an action now, and time is clearly for action in the matter. Well, now I want to take the opportunity I'm with you to talk about, let's say, the current situation of the market, to come back on what was the evolution of the telecom market in Spain for the last 10 years. Unfortunately, we all know that the total revenues of the telecom market in the last 10 years have been decreased by 30%, which clearly is showing the incredible pressure we all have on this market. What I want to state here is that despite this drastic decline, which, by the way, is resulting from clearly an increased price competition during all these years, Orange in Spain has maintained its investment pace. I want really to point out once more that in this country, we are investing 20% of our revenues in our networks to meet our customer needs. When I'm talking about our networks, we are obviously still investing in today what are legacy networks, 3G a bit less, because, but there are still a lot of users of 3G, but we are still investing a lot of 4G. Just for you to know, the 4G traffic is still growing at the pace of 40% every year. But obviously, we are investing in the networks of the future, 5G, which the take-up of 5G is starting to be very serious now. And this year, last year, so in 2021, just again to give you the order of magnitude of the investments we are doing in this country, we have invested 1 billion euro in our networks, and even more because last year was the investment in the 5G frequencies. So in total, 1.4 billion that were invested by Orange last year to serve our customers in this country. So we are also investing not only in mobile future technologies, but as you know, because we have announced that we are investing also in the future fiber technology. So I almost not dare to talk about this technology. We are investing in a technology called XGS-PON, which is a very barbaric name to name a technology which is going to enable to have speeds up to 10 gigabytes per second, which is 10 times the maximum speeds that you are enjoying today. And we are very proud to do that because it's really showing the superiority of fiber towards any other, I would say, support of telecommunications. We were talking about cable, we are talking about satellite. I mean, we are going now with fiber to reach speeds that are really superior, showing the reason why so many investments have been put in this telecom media. Now, before concluding, I would also like to address a topic I touched with you in the same forum last year, which is dear to my heart. I'm talking about the usage of our networks by, again, the digital giant, the digital giants. I mean, you can call them the GAFAM, the OTTs, whatever you want. Because clearly, we believe this is a challenge. I mean, if I look at Orange networks, both our mobile and our fixed network, you know that we are serving in this country 11 million mobile customers and more than 3 million houses connected with fiber. So this is not a mere statistics, this is really facts. More than 50% of the traffic of these networks are generated by 3 of these actors. I will let you guess which ones, because I don't want to quote names. But 3 of these actors are generating more than half of the traffic on our network, and this traffic is growing 40% per year. I mean, now I ask you, do you know what the contribution of these actors is to our investments? 0. Now, is this normal? If you ask me, clearly, I believe this is not, and I believe we must establish, and it cannot be only established, obviously, by Orange Spain nor by the Spanish operators, but I think in Europe, we need to establish what I think would be more fair, is a way, basically, to have these digital players, which are having growth, which are incredible, financial growth of their benefits, which are incredible, to contribute a bit more to the digital motorways that we are building for them in Europe. Just to give you a few numbers, in Europe, telcos have invested alone more than 500 billion euro in the last 10 years, which are amounts which are so big that one cannot even realize how much they are. And basically, a survey has just been conducted by a company called Frontier Economics to estimate what is the cost generated by the traffic of these, let's say, big players I was quoting before. And the cost in Europe of the traffic generated by these big players is, again, by this third party, estimated to 36 billion euro, 36 to 40 billion euro every year. So you can imagine what these type of amounts contributed by these players would bring, I would say, to the entire sector, not only to the telcos, but to the entire sector. I was seeing some of our colleagues of Ericsson in the room, of Huawei as well, to the entire sector. It would be obviously a great contribution. And now I'm very happy to see that the industry, the entire industry, is standing up on this topic, calling clearly for a fair distribution of, let's say, these infrastructure costs between the large corporations that are using our networks. And I'm confident that it will take some time, but that at the end, good sense will prevail, and that the telco sector in Europe will win this, I think, battle, which is a very important one for us. And by the way, you remember that this all started in Korea a few years ago, where one of these actors was actually convicted to pay the usage of the network of Korean Telecom. Well, it will take some time. Meanwhile, we fight at Orange to have the resources to continue to work, to invest in Spain, so that everyone here can continue to, I think, enjoy the great networks and the great advantages of our very high broadband networks and the digitalization. Spain is known for being a country which is the most advanced in Europe for its fiber, and clearly we are continue to fight for this in Orange. We clearly are calling as well European authorities for putting in place the necessary rules so that apart establishing this level playing field I was talking to you about before, to have the right rules for operators in Europe to reach the right scale. Clearly, what we are intending to do with MásMóvil now will be a first test of this hopefully updated policy in Europe. We will see that next year. Again, I mean, many times I've been talking about, and many of us have been talking about the over-fragmentation of the European markets, which is especially acute here in Spain. And we believe that, again, to fight with these giant players, and by the way, it's a small aparté, I was seeing yesterday in a report that the #1 telco in the world is now China Telecom, which has overpassed AT&T. So you see that we are fighting against real monsters in other geographies. So again, we believe and we hope that the European market will move and will allow us to do what's necessary for our industry. Well, clearly, you can see that I believe we have together a lot of exciting challenges in the coming years. To overcome them, clearly, technologies will play a crucial role. Digitalization will play a crucial role. Orange aims to be leading in this direction, as it has been doing for several decades. Just before I entered the room, I was asked whether Orange is listening to the voice of the future, so the voices of the future. Clearly, I believe we are in Orange. We're not only listening to them, but we are incorporating them in our strategy, and we are really acting on them. And just to conclude, I want just to tell you, to remember you, the future is bright, the future is Orange and Spain. Muchas gracias.